Hi and welcome back. So today I wanted to show my first patches on Serum of 2025. I got my keyboard and stuff here, but don't let that fool you because I am not a keyboardist whatsoever. So I have two patches so far and they're both in the kind of lo-fi circle. So as you can see here, I have Modern VCO1 and Modern VCO2. As long as you have both of these, they will be slightly different from each other. So when you hard pan them left and right, you'll get a stereo image. A small snippet of what I'll be sharing later is a type of wavetable I have called tone mod tables. I got that idea way back when I got the DeepMind 12. It basically has a wave shaper that gives you some subtle variations on the square waves, and I have a group of wavetables that take from that concept where the tables are just wave shapes. As you modulate them, you can get a ton of various phenomenon ranging from the illusion of width, like I demonstrated in my other video, and even other things like spectral balance shifting or harmonic blending. But anyway, let's just look at this table for now. So a saw wave kind of sound. I'm not really a keyboardist. We'll get these other shapes right here on the darker side of the spectrum. As we sweep through, we'll get these harmonic pinching wavetables that have like a fixed point. The other point will move like this. You'll get that detuning effect. But when you have those points drifting apart and back together, especially at a fast rate, technically the waveform is detuning up and down at the same time within that window. And so you get benefit of not detuning. Another saw type of wave like this. And then sweep this way, you get a triangle coming in a spectral way, square properties as well. Now let's hear the wavetable being swept. There's a lot of room there for very cool automation, all the way from making hard bass or just synth keys or even pads, you know, it depends on what you want. But that's the trick about synthesis. All of the ingredients that would go into making a pad are shared information that can be usable in other places. The wavetables that I would use in a pad can also be useful in a monophonic drone. We get a second wavetable. Now this wavetable is basically exactly the same except for the fact that the ending has an entirely new section of wave shapes. Only the lower information, the bass, will comb through each other. So you get a bass width illusion kind of thing happening. This was one of my favorite discoveries in synthesis. I can't wait to get to the wavetable video because there is a lot I'd like to share, and really I don't know how I'm going to put it all into a linear topic. It might have to be multiple videos just for the wavetables alone, but look forward to all of that. Before I move on, let me play both wavetables hard panned. A nice stereo image. Let's demonstrate the patches that I've made. It also has ways to change the timbre. I want my sounds to be user-friendly. So the first macro here is you can shift the timbre. You get a stereo and spectral blending. The next macro is a pinch macro, which will do a pseudo high-pass filter where it will take out the lower harmonic energy. We also can remove low energy by taking the sub-oscillator out, so that one's pretty straightforward. And now for my favorite effect, a nice crusty lo-fi delay and reverb in a lo-fi fashion or in a modern fashion. It's really up to you. So if we look in the effects chain here, this might be another slept on feature now that I think about it. All of these units where they have the mix knob here, if you click the mix knob, it changes into a gain knob. I don't know if you knew that. You can actually gain stage through all of these effects. If you want it to drive into something, just drag the mod wheel over, hit Alt Shift, so that way it's unipolar, and then drag this down to your desired level. That energy is being crunched in the middle, and when you crossfade in between them, you're gonna get its own type of flanging happening. So that is actually my first patch of 2025, and I'll make it available for download in the description. Now at the second patch. I actually like this one better. Subtle little nuances in the waveforms. This little bump, which is going to add a little bit of even harmonics. And then on this wavetable, as I play, the edges of the waveform here and here will have a small snippet of silence that is being spectrally automated through time. I designed it to have the use of velocity, which is something that is missing in a lot of my patches. That's just because personally when I make tracks, I like to use MIDI that has no velocity programmed in it. I use other instruments to program the velocity in, like arpeggiators or Cthulhu. Now that I'm thinking about it more seriously in the idea of making it available for other people, I want it to be available to everyone, whether they're a synth patcher, a performer, or just dragging something in their DAW and trying to get a good sound. This synth also has a lo-fi macro here. And wow, listen to that. I managed to actually get the wow and flutter effect from this all-pass filter with the lo-fi enabled. That's the lo-fi, and then when you have it halfway, by the way, I want to apologize if there's any points in this video that I can't cut out the squeakiness of my chair. I'm just gonna go ahead and give it the spotlight for a second, but look how bad this chair is. So that's my life, I have to deal with that. Anyway, if you wanted some variation, the mod wheel is going to turn the sound more into a long pad archetype. You get kind of two patches in one. Keep in mind, the decay is macroed, so you can get sort of a attack with no decay, the variety of this one patch. Will be available for download with the option of donation, or I guess tip is what they call it. So anyway, let's open a brand new serum. And first thing is that moment where I had to just sit in silence in the blank canvas and wait for the sound to come to me. Same concept here, try and decide what I want to make. I got it. Okay, so I'm going to make a sign pluck patch. This is pretty much a very organic way to make this patch feel like an instrument. Yeah, stay tuned for more. It's going to be really fun when we get into modular synthesis, because the limitations of, say, Serum here, for example, completely vanish. And then the only limitation at that point is your imagination. But anyway, that's gonna have to be saved. How much fun we're gonna have when we get into modular synthesis in future videos, so stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe so that way you get notified when those videos come out. It also helps if you like and all that stuff that everyone says, whatever. Alright, see you later.